Hi, my name is Connie. As we start the new year, I realize many of you are thinking about a New Year's resolution. And last week, we talked about the importance of commitment versus resolution. And I mentioned that you shouldn't rely on willpower alone and deprivation, which to me is the essence of resolution. Rather, you should decide to commit and work towards making lifelong changes. As a success strategy, the most important thing to remember when embarking on a journey of positive change is that at the primal level, despite your well-intentioned efforts, there will be internal resistance. Expecting the resistance and having a sound strategy to welcome the resistance will be more effective in achieving your goals. So commit to just showing up and treading along, despite the way you feel, and learn to manage your temptations simply by having a laser focus on your goal. And as I mentioned, understand why it's so important so that you stay focused on your goals. And with that said, I want to take the time today to help you understand inflammation, which is the ultimate root cause for your weight gain, fatigue, digestive pain, and ultimately disease. Once you understand the role of inflammation, then I can show you what and how to combat and decrease the inflammatory load on your body. So think of your body as having an internal thermostat. Most of you know that when your thermostat does not work right, the temperature in the house is not correctly reflected on the thermostat. Therefore, the house becomes either too hot or too cold. Just so you can easily understand the concepts, today I want to oversimplify our immune system so that you can wrap your head around the concept of inflammation. This will allow you to better understand the importance of your healthy changes. So your immune system is what controls your inflammation. It's like the thermostat for your heat and air. Think of your immune system as the army that fights for you every day to keep the bad guys away. And not all inflammation is bad, as it's your body's way of protecting you from damage. We have all experienced the effects of our immune system when we've gotten a cut. It gets red, it gets swollen, hot, exudes pus in some cases, and then scabs over. And this is a good thing. But I want you to understand that every day we're exposed to toxins in our environment through our skin, breathing in the toxic air, and eating foods that are not real foods, meaning foods that's been over-processed. No matter who you are, we're eating some of that. So over time, our immune system gets overworked from dealing with these toxins, and our thermostat does not register the correct temperature, so to speak. This causes our bodies to have low-grade inflammation. Now, our immune system is a complex system that has multiple components and layers of reactors to protect and fend off the enemy. My explanation today doesn't do justice for the complexity of our immune system. It's actually mind-blowing, the complexity of it. But a simple way I explain to my patients is that the first line of defense is our skin and mucosal layer of our nasal passage and our mouth down to our gut ultimately. So what we can control is what we put into our bodies on a daily basis. And food is information for our bodies in the form of nutrients used to metabolically break down and convert into energy. We know from research that also food can affect gene expression directly and indirectly. And because we've been feeding our bodies the wrong information over time, our gut lining, the outermost defense layer, is compromised in most of us, which is also known as the leaky gut. I believe that most of us have a leaky gut to an extent, and depending on your genetic makeup, some can handle more attacks than others. So the threshold for disease is different for everyone. But in my experience and from reviewing the research, many are on the cusp of disease and walking around with symptoms. So think about your immune system as a pot of water. A healthy immune system is when the water is simmering and it's easily contained. But when the pot of water reaches its boiling point, and if you don't control the intensity of that heat, the water will boil over, right? Well, the water that spills over can't be placed back. However, the water temperature, or our inflammation in this case, can be adjusted down. This is an opportunity for you to dial down the inflammation by making healthier choices. It's when the immune system reacts or reaches a boiling point and the heat can't be adjusted that we see many people with adverse symptoms. And by this point, patients are waiting for the ultimate diagnoses. Many of the inflammatory pathways also turn on inflammation in our bodies. And this thermostat that controls the inflammation is also broken. Therefore, the incidence of various autoimmune conditions are on the rise. It's important to understand that weight gain, water retention, pain, rashes, fatigue or gut pain, and high blood pressure are simple signs that your body is off balance. And inflammation is at the root cause of all imbalances that potentially lead to disease. So therefore, it's important to dial down the inflammation to ensure that you don't compromise balance. So how do you do that? Well, there are 4 dietary mechanisms that lead to inflammation. First one is oxidative stress. Just like the inside of an apple that turns brown, we're subject to oxidation, and too much leads to stress, aging, and inflammation. So antioxidant-rich foods are antidote to inflammation. So eat foods with high ORAC scores. Goji berries are good, dark chocolate, pecans, artichokes, elderberries, kidney beans, cranberries are good examples. Second is glycemic load. Make sure to eat foods that give you a sustained energy through the day. Are high in protein, good fats, and low in simple sugars. Good source of protein include organic chicken, wild-caught Alaskan salmon, salad, avocados, coconut oil, etc. Third is modulation of metabolic signaling pathways. So all cells have signaling paths, and such signals can be anti-inflammatory or inflammatory. So eating real antioxidant foods can help your cells create more anti-inflammatory signals by turning on good genes and keeping the bad genes turned off. Of course, it's much more complex than that, but this is a simple explanation. Fourth and lastly, types and balances of fatty acids. Our outer cellular layer consists of fatty acids, and the fatty acids also play a significant role in inflammation in multiple ways. Diets that are high in omega-3s help to combat and decrease inflammatory signals. Eat healthy fats such as nuts, seeds, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, and avocados to help your cells have healthy fatty acid composition. I hope this was helpful. Next week, I'll get much more granular about what and how to incorporate this information, but at least now you know why you need to be committed to a healthier lifestyle. So see you next week.